Welcome to Chicago in the NCAA Men's Volleyball National Championship. #1 seed Loyola of Chicago. That's right, the Ramblers of Chicago have their first NCAA title in sight. Will Stanford spoil their party? Who will be our 2014 NCAA Men's Volleyball National Champion? This is the NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. We welcome you to a sold-out Gentile Arena on the campus of Loyola of Chicago, where it is time to decide our national champion. Both teams, Stanford and Loyola, survived 5 setters in the national semifinals. In fact, that was history. We've never had a championship match in which both teams had to go the distance in the semis. And good evening, everyone. Sam Gore, honored to be alongside Olympic gold medalist and national champion Dane Blanton. And Dane, it's an interesting situation tonight because Loyola can win its first national title, but they have to go through a program that's used to playing for national titles in all sorts of sports.
Well, it's crazy. It's not often that you get an opportunity to play for a national championship, but they get to do it at home. This is a sold-out crowd, 4,500 people going crazy, so they will have the advantage there. Stanford, on the other hand, they have to rebound from a very emotional semifinal. Can they do it? That will be the big question.
Well, we have a lot of individual talent on the court. Let's look at those 2 players we're going to focus on here in the open. First for Stanford, Brian Cook.
Well, Brian Cook is the senior. He knows this is his last game as a college player. He's a 2-time All-American, and he's a stud on the outside. Look for him to have a huge game. On the other side of the net, for Loyola, Thomas Jaski. He is only a sophomore, yet he is the MIVA Player of the Year. Look for this youngster to lead his team tonight.
Loyola has won 26 straight matches. Stanford only 1 loss in the past 2 months. They're the top 2 teams in the nation, and they'll decide the national title in a moment.
Check.
Energizer protects your devices from damaging leaks.
Don't deal with embarrassing antiperspirant residue. Choose Right Guard Extreme Clear. Its revolutionary formula combines powerful stain-fighting technology with extra effective wetness protection. The choice is clear. Right Guard for the win. Also try the power of the world's first clinical clear.
This winter, NCAA.com is Championship Central. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place.
Be tougher than that team.
With exclusive access.
We're ready to go.
Live broadcasts of multiple winter championships across all divisions and on-demand highlights for every single championship. No one has you covered this winter more than NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Are you confused by all the expanding hoses on the market? Don't be fooled by imitations. Hi, I'm Michael Berardi. I'm the inventor of the X-Hose, the original blue expanding hose. In fact, I've been awarded 3 U.S. patents for my invention. Now I'm introducing my new DAP X-Hose Pro with solid brass fittings and a wider 3/4 inch diameter. Works like my original X-Hose. Just turn the water on and my X-Hose Pro automatically expands and expands and expands. And when you're finished, my X-Hose Pro automatically contracts for easy storage. Great for homeowners and professionals. My 50-foot 3/4 inch X-Hose Pro weighs only about 2 pounds. My DAP X-Hose Pro will never kink. Get my new DAP X-Hose Pro for only $29.95. But call right now and get a second X-Hose Pro free. Just pay processing and handling. So call now. I promise you'll love it.
Call 1-800-780-1388. That's 1-800-780-1388. X-Hose Pro is not sold in stores, so call today.
Gentile Arena is rocking here in Chicago, and let's show you who is on the court. Our starting lineups tonight for this national championship. First for the Cardinal of Stanford, we talked about Brian Cook. Brian Cook is a difference maker. However, watch the setter, James Shaw, number 8, because the offense runs through Shaw. And in fact, these are the top 2 offensive teams in the nation. How about Loyola, Dane?
Well, Loyola, they are loaded. They, of course, have Thomas Jaski, that outside hitter, Cody Caldwell. But Joe Smalzer is leading the nation in aces, 233 aces. Look for him to have a big game from that back line.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Let's take a look at our rules for men's volleyball. 3 out of 5 sets, first to 25, win by 2 in sets 1 through 4. Set 5 would go to 15, win by 2. Really the big difference between the men's game and the women's game is that in the men's game, the libero cannot serve, and the libero will have a different colored jersey on for those of you new to the sport. So we have set the stage. There is not one seat left to claim. This arena is sold out to capacity, and most of the people here, with the exception of about 130, we're told, are pulling for Loyola. A chance for the Ramblers to win a national title on their home court. Stanford going for its 3rd. Stanford in red, and right away it is Cook making his presence known from the right side.
You can see right out of the gate how high Brian Cook gets on that right side. Very difficult to stop. Loyola's going to have their work cut out for him.
Cook, a 2-time All-American from Santa Cruz, California. And Loyola answers, specifically Joe Smalzer.
Smalzer, we talked about him in the beginning. He's a great server on the back line, but quite the attacker at 6'8".
Back to serve Owen McAndrews. He's just a freshman from Ohio, 6'5" freshman. Started late in the season. Remember, both these teams coming off 5 setters 2 nights ago. And a kill from that far side by Steve Irvin.
Stephen Irvin on the outside, huge double arm lift. He sees the seam in the block and he executes right in between.
Spencer Haley back to serve for Stanford. And Stanford just too tough along that front line. Point to the Cardinal, 3-1.
Conrad Comiskey, 6'7", only a sophomore, completely controlling the net there, getting over, being aggressive.
Haley added to the starting lineup this year after Denny Fields went down with an injury. There's a kill by Cody Caldwell.
Such a quick set to the outside by Olsen. Block didn't have time to set up.
Caldwell, a Californian. Serving is Smalzer. He's the young man we featured with the big serve. And a hitting error. That was hit out by Irvin. Point to Loyola.
Stephen Irvin looking for the touch off the block, but not getting it.
Here's a look at Smalzer. Again, he leads the NCAA in service aces. But with a lot of aces come errors as well. What's your thought on that, Dane? Will you take that error?
Well, absolutely. When you get aces, you can afford to miss here and there. You just don't want the ratio to get out of whack.
Mahalski serving for Stanford. Back row attack, but it is out. A little too much by Mahalski. And Loyola has battled back. We're tied at 4.
Tried to set that D in the back row from Mahalski, but they just can't execute.
Cody Caldwell, junior from Newport Beach, California. There are some Californians on this Loyola team. Nice block in the middle. Nick Olsen got the majority of it.
Nick Olsen was up huge right there. Perfect footwork, gets to the outside, and then he faces back into the court. Great block.
Loyola with its first lead, 5-4. And put down by Steve Irvin again.
I love how Steve Irvin is being aggressive right out of the gate. He's going at it, he's attacking that ball and getting it to the ground quickly.
One of the team's best servers for Stanford. He's got 35 aces this season. Second team All-American. And what power from Caldwell out of the back row middle.
Oh, beautifully set Bick out of the middle. so quick, so high. Caldwell blasting and putting it away.
That was fun to watch.
Perfectly executed in-system offense.
Olsen, just a sophomore from Wisconsin, serving. Cook trying to answer. And Stanford grabs the point. We're tied at 6.
Great outside set. And then a miscommunication right there. So important to communicate who's got that second ball.
Interesting that in the national championship, that kind of error is still happening. Loyola, though, makes up for it and retakes the lead.
Wow, McAndrews. There's Stanford head coach John Costi. He's in his 8th season, of course, won a national championship back in 2010, looking for number 2.
Point to Stanford, and Loyola upset about that call. Let's see it.
Yeah, this is like a pancake. You want to get it on the ground, and there's no question that that ball is up in the air. A little bit of a quick whistle by the head referee there. He'd like to have that one back.
Stanford the beneficiary. We're tied at 7. In this opening set of the national championship, another powerful back row attack for Loyola. There's a look at Loyola's young head coach, Shane Davis, just named the National Coach of the Year for the first time in his career, but he's been here quite a while. He was an All-American setter in this program, coaching in his alma mater. Goes high up to the top of the arena. Cook with the block, kept alive by the Ramblers. There's the set by Shaw, and the kill is executed by Michalski.
Michalski putting it down on the outside, kind of drifts, took a little off speed, and sometimes you have to go off speed. You can't go power all the time. You got to switch it up, throw the defense off.
Good opening set, tied at 8. These are the top 2 offensive teams in the country in terms of hitting percentage. First time we've had a national championship that featured the top 2 offensive teams. And you see the offense abounding on both sides of the court. That time Smalzer gets the kill, the lefty.
Yeah, at 6'8", being a lefty and working that opposite position, it is very difficult to stop on the defensive end.
You hear that crowd chanting LU, predominantly Loyola crowd, as you might imagine. And again, good elevation and execution by Caldwell.
Cook can't put it away, but Cody Caldwell on the high outside set is able to go right down the line.
He's got 4 kills. A big match player is what they call Caldwell. That allows McAndrews another chance to serve in Loyola with a 2-point advantage. Just long. Side out Stanford.
I like that the Ramblers are really being aggressive on the back line. They may be missing a few serves right now, but that's how you want to attack a match, especially in the national championship. Get that edge early.
Yeah, it's a good sign for Loyola that they've come out not playing nervously at all in their first national championship. Stanford last won a national title back in 2010. That block goes out of bounds.
When you talk about the nerves, we said, you know, how would they respond coming out here? They have been focused on this national championship for so long because they are hosting it. They wanted to be in it so bad, but now it's the last piece of the puzzle. Can they now win it that they've gotten this far?
They survived a 5-setter against Penn State the other night and forced Stanford beating BYU for the first time this year. Stanford had lost 3 matches to BYU this year and upset BYU in 5 sets. And that one got away from Michalski to give Loyola the point, and it's 12-10.
That's the thing you mentioned. Stanford really coming together at the right point of the season. Losing so many times to BYU, but they won the one that counted most.
Stanford struggled at the beginning of the year, but they've gone on quite a win streak. They've only lost once in the past 2 months.
Michalski coming a D out of the back row and putting it away.
Irvin back to serve for Stanford. Senior from Pacific Palisades, California. two-time second-team All-American. And a service error. I've seen a lot of service errors in this first set. You chalk that up to nerves?
Well, you know what? I remember playing in the national championship. Very important that you establish the serve so that the opposition doesn't think you're just going to kind of roll it over the net. You have to be aggressive and establish yourself early.
Nice attack from the middle by Spencer Haley.
Also, talk about establishing yourself. Establishing the middle so important so that the other side of the net, that middle blocker, respects you.
Stanford within one. Loyola the #1 seed, but ranked #2 in the nation right now. They dropped a little bit. Nice. Good touch by Caldwell to find that opening.
I'll tell you what, that big set is working extremely well. Coming in from the back row, not a heavy hit, but taking it off speed and just shooting it right in the middle.
Caldwell with 6 kills here in the first set. Dumped over by Shaw, the setter. He has a tendency to do that. He's a very attack-minded setter.
James Shaw at 6'8" has so many tools. When you have a setter that big, it's tough to stop. Sometimes he can go over, and he goes over at such a high level that it's hard to defend.
Shaw also an All-American this year. Great family lineage. And a big kill by McAndrews, his second, will send us to our first commercial. The national championship starting with a bang. A lot of kills, not many errors. This is good stuff.
Life is more rewarding when you feel secure. At Northwestern Mutual, we'll keep you ahead of the game with a personalized plan that helps you stay focused on your goals.
The Levion family have been masters of jewelry design for centuries. This Levion collection is amazing.
Maybe it's time to start your own.
Kay presents today's Levion with exclusive Levion chocolate diamonds.
Every kiss begins with Kay.
The NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual, proud to be an official corporate partner of the NCAA.
Beautiful sunset here in Chicago. Loyola, the home team, leading by 1 in the national championship. We just saw Cody Caldwell get a kill, and he's off to a fantastic start with 6 kills already.
Cody Caldwell is all over, coming out of the back row, hitting that big set so well. Sometimes putting a lot of heat on, other times he's taking a little bit off, but he has come aggressive, and it's causing Stanford all sorts of problems.
6 kills on 8 swings by Caldwell, no errors. Stanford trying to answer out of the timeout. And they're not going to do it. That's Smalzer this time, his 3rd kill. And it increases the Loyola lead to 3.
Well, we knew at the beginning they have so many weapons, Loyola does. Jeske, Caldwell, Smalzer, Olsen.
Another hitting error by Stanford. Loyola has yet to commit a hitting error. That's only the 4th by the Cardinal, but it prompts Stanford to call a timeout as this crowd getting fired up. Loyola has a 4-point advantage heading toward the deep end of the opening set.
This is the computer ICU. It's what happens to your computer when it gets infected, slows down, and crashes. And if you don't do something, your computer could wind up here in the computer graveyard. But it could be saved with mycleanpc.com.
Is your computer running slow? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? Then go to mycleanpc.com for your free diagnosis today. Then, just activate the MyCleanPC.com software to fix it in minutes. And computer specialists are available while you're online.
The best thing about MyCleanPC.com was it had a free diagnosis.
My computer is 100% faster.
You know immediately what the problem is, and the problem is solved right then and there.
Download your free diagnosis today at MyCleanPC.com.
Loyola up 17-13 behind a 733 hitting percentage, no errors. So let's take a look at how Stanford and Loyola plan for success. It's brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, for Stanford, they need to spread the wealth. The big problem is they have 4 hitting errors, and they needed to take the home court advantage away, and that is not the case right now. Loyola has that advantage, and they are using it. They have gotten over their first game jitters, and they've definitely slowed down the Cardinal offense. Loyola hasn't even had a hitting error yet.
But, I mean, ordinarily, Dane, is 4 hitting errors a problem?
Not really, but if your opponent has 0, that's when it becomes a problem.
All of a sudden, we're saying 4 errors is a problem, but it's because Loyola's perfect.
No question.
Cook, off speed, just missed. And Stanford just cannot find an opening in that Loyola defense either.
That ball out of bounds, so yet another error for Stanford, make it 5. And Loyola just bombing the serve from the back line.
There's the set. And that is going to go out of bounds. Shaw can't keep it in play. Another point for Loyola. That's the 12th assist for Hutz. A deafening crowd here in Chicago. Exactly what you'd hope for in a national championship. As Loyola is up 19-13, and I want to remind you that coming up, we've got the exciting lacrosse regular season coming to an end, and it's time to pick the top lacrosse teams in the nation. Don't miss the men's lacrosse tournament. Field announced live Sunday 9 on ESPNU, also live on Watch ESPN. Sunday at 9, the men's lacrosse selection shows. Syracuse ranked #1, Duke ranked #2 in the latest poll. And here's a look at the recent NCAA tournament champions in lacrosse. Of course, a dominant top 5, Syracuse through North Carolina. Those schools always seem to be around at the end of the year. Now Duke's starting to come on strong here recently. Are you surprised at all, Dane, by what you've seen so far by Loyola specifically?
Well, I am. Before the match, I talked to Coach Costi on Stanford, and he told me that, you know, his team's going to take this like any other match. They seem so composed. They seem so ready to go. And you'd think that their jitters might be on the other side of the net. Loyola being at home, having all this pressure, but it seems like Stanford has the jitters. They haven't been able to settle down. It's been all Loyola. They're spreading their offense well. They're playing comfortable. And this is exactly the start that Stanford did not want Loyola to get off to.
And you mentioned the emotional hangover that Stanford may feel after beating BYU, because that was a huge match for the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, both semis went 5 sets, but for Stanford against BYU, they faced 2 match points in that 4th set and were able to come back and overcome. So it was so emotional for them, but they need to recover and bounce back.
Haley gets the kill for Stanford to end the run by Loyola. Stanford trailing by 5. Brian Cook back to serve. Sister Carissa was a setter on the Stanford's women's team until 2012. She now plays on the sand team for Hawaii. She's getting her master's out there. Sand volleyball coming to a conclusion right now. Point to Loyola. Over the net, called against Stanford.
Nothing going Stanford's way right now. We've seen them trying to get touch calls, some of the ball going out. I've seen them try to get a few net calls, and now an over call. So nothing going their way. They just need to take a few deep breaths, settle in.
Trevor Novotny inserted to serve for Loyola. Service error, however. And he's going to rotate right back out and be replaced by McAndrews.
Rolling the dice on that back line, bringing in substitutes to swing hard and go for that ace has paid off thus far for Loyola.
And here's Madison Hayden. He's also brought in to serve for Stanford. So both teams putting in serving specialists. Didn't work out too well for Loyola. And how about that? The serve specialists come in and both commit errors.
It's one of the most difficult positions on the team because you're on the sideline, you're not quite warm, and then you come in and you're expected to really whip up that tough jump serve.
And then you go right back out. Smalls with the best server in the nation. He'll show us how it's done. Nice. The overpass, and it is taken care of by Caldwell.
Well, a few times, and that was caused by Smalzer's great serve, but Stanford is passing that ball a little bit too close to the net. Not even at 6'8" can Shaw handle that one.
Again, free ball for Loyola. And they're just making it easy on Loyola, but it's mostly, I would assume, Smalzer's serving that's causing this.
Wow. Another overpass. And Nicholas Olsen coming in with authority. They made Stanford pay quick.
Loyola looking for set point. They've got their best server back there behind the line. Nice serve. And the off speed saved by Loyola.
Wow, what an incredible play. Smalzer in the backcourt, not only with the ace, but that incredible pancake dig, keeping the ball alive.
A home court bounce, and it is set point for Loyola. Set point saved. As Kaminsky keeps Stanford in this set. Mahalski back to serve. More set points, though, for Loyola. Antenna was hit. Point will go to Stanford. It was Loyola hitting the antenna. So Stanford stays alive, but in a huge hole right now. Down 7 and a multitude of set points for Loyola to play with. Mahalski's error hands the set to Loyola, and Stanford's got to hope this Loyola storm blows itself out.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So much momentum on Loyola, and this crowd absolutely going wild.
The Ramblers are rambling. They take care of the opening set comfortably, hitting 696.
I can't believe you ordered all 25 shakes.
Thanks for the salted caramel shake, Kara.
I really can't believe you know her name.
I kind of have nicknames for everybody based upon my order.
Salted caramel, Kara.
Yeah, Holly for jalapeno chocolate.
That's
and
great.
Janine for peanut butter.
Why Janine for peanut butter?
Because she reminds me of my ex-girlfriend, Janine, who was nuts.
She was crazy.
Celebrate summer with 25 hand-mixed real ice cream shakes, all half price after 8 p.m. And try our Asiago Caesar Chicken Club. This is how you Sonic.
Jeff. Hey, Scott. Top of the morning to you, sir.
This is no time for lollygagging, lad.
But we love lollygagging.
We do. There is a battlefield out there. You know, the chickweed is surrounding your sidewalk, and the dandelions are stealing precious nutrients. Now's the time to send in the Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed, man. It kills weeds while it feeds and strengthens your grass.
That sounds easy.
Thanks, Scott. Anytime, kids. Get Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed. It's guaranteed. Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Quite simply, Investors Business Daily's mission is to teach people how to make money in the stock market. The training programs that we set up with GoToMeeting allow our trainers at IBD to interact in a very personal way with our customers. HD Faces allows our subscribers and trainers to build trust instantly, and trust enables communication. I believe that the type of relationship that we're building with our customers through GoToMeeting.
The NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual here in Chicago. Chicago feeling very good right now as Loyola of Chicago has just taken the opening set from Stanford, 25-17, hitting .696 and no hitting errors. And I am a very honored man right now. I'm surrounded by greatness. I've got an Olympic gold medalist over here, our U.S. men's Olympic coach right here. John Speraw has graced us with his presence. John, of course, you've really won at all levels of volleyball, and you go back to your UC Irvine days, and now you're at UCLA as well as the Olympic coach. Tell us what's going on with you right now.
Oh, man. I've got a lot going on. 2 jobs is quite a bit. Right now I'm involved in the transition, leaving UCLA and getting back involved with the summer with Team USA. We have a busy summer coming up. We literally finished just last week, and already next week is the official start of our practice, and on to World League, which is coming up. So that's the end of May when we start playing Bulgaria, Russia, Serbia. So that's coming in a hurry.
How difficult has it been for you? Of course, you're juggling 2 jobs at the same time, but you filled maybe the biggest shoes in the history of the sport in Al Skates taking over at UCLA. How's that transition been for you?
It's been great. It's been wonderful to go back. I kind of forgot how nostalgic I feel about being at your alma mater, so it's been wonderful to be back.
Well, John's going to hang out with us for the first part of this second set. Loyola winning the first set impressively. Really flawless, no errors, and Stanford serves to start set number 2. And Loyola picks up right where it left off. Smalls it with a kill from the right side. That's his 4th. John, what was your impression of that first set?
I felt like Loyola came in with a real plan. They came in, they set a ton of BIC early. They got a couple of their key role players going quite early. Especially Caldwell. I mean, he obviously had so many attempts, and you would never have said that going into the first set of this match that Jeske and Olsen would only have 3 attempts between them.
Stanford tools the block, and the point to Stanford.
So would you say they're using Jeske kind of as a decoy?
Well, I was also curious. I didn't quite see the matchup. I was wondering how concerned they are about James Shaw at the net. Maybe he was matched up with him and didn't set him as much, but my guess is he's going to see a lot more attempts here in this set.
If you're John Kotze, though, what are you telling Stanford after that first set?
I think they need to play aggressive. I think that they came out there, both their outsides, Cook and Irvin seemed really tentative, and they're great servers. They should be really aggressive, and I didn't see that, so I think that they're going to have to do that in this set in order to win.
Did you think that Loyola would have some jitters? They've been focused so much on actually being here because they're hosting. Now it's the final piece of the puzzle.
You know, I think that match that they played on Thursday night was really good for them. Because sometimes when you're that good, you haven't lost in a long time, and you get into a match like they did versus Penn State, that was really tight. Boy, you get nervous, and they did, but then they came back and survived it. I think that was really big for them.
Yeah, Loyola has won 26 matches in a row, but Stanford has come out a little more aggressively here. Tied the score at 2-all. What do you think about the addition of the 2 extra teams this year? We've got 6 now.
It's wonderful for our sport. The opportunity to have more teams from more regions have an opportunity to play for the national championship. I think it'll help grow the game. I hope that it's not the end. I hope we can continue to grow the NC2A tournament and include more teams.
Service ace by Brian Cook, and Stanford has the lead 3-2. That is the first ace of the match for Stanford.
John, I know you left behind at UCI quite a legacy. Is there any contact there any longer? I know I saw you at the match, of course, at UCLA last year in the national championship. But how difficult was it to lead that program, and how are they doing?
It was very difficult, mostly because of the relationships. I felt really close to a lot of those players. We obviously had just finished up a dream season winning the national championship. They were my kind of guys, and so to leave that was really tough. But my decision was a long-term career decision, and I think and hope that they ultimately will understand that in the long run. I still keep in touch with some of them, and I'm sure as they graduate and move away from UC Irvine, I hope we can continue to stay in touch more during the years.
Irvin with a kill for Stanford, 4-3. The Cardinal leads. The best-of-5 set format.
Oh, wow.
And another service error by Haley.
I know that Stanford can serve much better than this. You know, watching that first set, just watching them not hit it like they normally can. Irvin and Cook have good arms. Shaw has a good arm. They should be winding up and hitting these things.
Any idea why they're not?
I don't know. Maybe it's just nerves. I'm not sure.
Cook out of the back row, nice up. And then back on the attack. Out of play. So a dig and a kill for Smalzer.
Would you say that Loyola is completely the aggressor? They're taking charge. It seems like Stanford's tentative. They're not passing quite as well, and that's not giving them enough opportunity.
I totally agree. And the other thing, too, I noticed in that first set was just execution on tendencies. And I think that's really hard for a young player to understand how to do it. But, you know, what you're doing versus Smalzer is really important. You know, you should be taking his cross court. His first couple swings, they gave him the cross court. Caldwell can really attack the line. I think he got to be good on his line, and sure enough, the first couple swings they were able to get on his line. They were able to give him his line. I just felt like, gosh, early in a match, you got to make sure you get on a tendency. And what I thought was really interesting is they set McAllister a couple balls after, you know, he didn't finish very well versus Penn State. I bet they wanted to get him going early. So some of those decisions that the coach makes early in these matches are always fascinating to me.
Mahalski with the second Stanford ace, and they both come in this set, so Stanford is serving more aggressively now. That's out.
Ooh.
A rare hitting error for Loyola. Remember, they went through the whole opening set with 0 hitting errors.
And you see Jeske right there. They're finally setting him some balls, but you're all the way into the second set. You wonder what it's going to take to get him going.
So 12 points into the second set for Loyola to commit an error, but made up quickly by McAndrews, his third kill.
Great set, perfect height, and you want to be there right there as that middle blocker. You want that hand to be that target for the setter.
You know, I was a small middle, as you know, Dane, and I respect it when the little guys are up early and ready and hitting hard, and he certainly does that.
Hutz having an excellent set day for Loyola, and another kill from that same side as Smalzer with his 6th.
You know, I think right there shows an example of why you want to get on tendencies early. You know, they didn't get on his tendency early, and now all of a sudden he's comfortable, he's confident, he's smiling, he's up there making great swings like that high off the block.
Absolutely, you take away that tendency, you make them a little uncomfortable, and you establish that early. And if you don't do that, someone's in a groove, and sometimes it's too late.
I really feel like the first 15 points of a match can be so critical. I think that's what the best part is about our sport, is that the first 5 points of a match really matter.
Stanford clinging to a 1-point lead. Steve Irvin back to serve, one of the team's best servers. His dad, Christopher, played on 2 NCAA title teams at UCLA. A lot of family history in volleyball on both these teams. And a wide open spot found in the back of the court by Jeske.
Jeske coming around on that backside, a red, getting up high. And he looks as free as ever, hitting wherever he wants to at that net.
And Hutz now with 20 assists for Loyola. Good up by Delgado. Put down by Cook. Point to Stanford. 3 kills now for Cook.
It just amazes me, John, how quick the offense has become over, say, the last 20 years. When we played against one another, you see the high balls, and it's just gotten so fast and so big.
I think they really have become better volleyball players than when we were in college. I think the speed to the pins particularly, but also I think you can't discount what's happened with the BIC over even just more recently over the last 5 years. It's gone from being a gimmick to being a really important part of the offense.
That BIC coming right in the middle. We only used to have a pipe, and now that BIC is like the X coming out of the back row.
Right, it's a tempo set, very fast. Really hard to figure out if it's going to go to the quick or the outside hitter. Wow. There on tendency.
Huge block right there. And you talk about the athlete getting better. I completely agree with you. And they've gotten bigger. Now the 6'8", 6'9" guy is playing like the 5'10" guy used to play.
That's right. They're fluid athletes. I think we have a number of them out here on the volleyball court. They're fun to watch.
John, what's the next level for these guys out here?
Well, I think to go play professionally overseas, and hopefully they have a dream of being on the Olympic team. There's certainly a number of guys on this court that have that opportunity. Really excited about watching Jeske. I hadn't had an opportunity to see him play this season, He's only a sophomore, very fluid, clearly has a good all-around game. And of course, you're watching James Shaw, who we just announced is on our World League roster for this summer. I think he has huge upside on the national team.
Are you watching the matches a lot differently now than you might normally be?
Yeah, I might be. I certainly have learned a lot from my experiences with the national team. And I think sometimes my assistant coaches, Andrew Becker and Brad Keller, they give me a hard time because they think my expectations are too high. And I think that's given an opportunity to help my team play for the next level.
Well, Coach John Sparrow, thanks for spending some time with us.
Hey, appreciate it being here. It was fun.
And we look forward to watching your team in the Olympics down in Rio. Cook, coming off 2 service aces, has put Stanford up by 3. We'll take a break and be right back here in Chicago.
Are you confused by all the expanding hoses on the market? Don't be fooled by imitations. Hi, I'm Michael Berardi. I'm the inventor of the X-Hose, the original blue expanding hose. In fact, I've been awarded 3 U.S. patents for my invention. Now I'm introducing my new DAP X-Hose Pro with solid brass fittings and a wider 3/4 inch diameter. Works like my original X-Hose. Just turn the water on and my X-Hose Pro automatically expands and expands and expands. And when you're finished, my X-Hose Pro automatically contracts for easy storage. Great for homeowners and professionals. My 50-foot 3/4 inch X-Hose Pro weighs only about 2 pounds. My DAP X-Hose Pro will never kink. Get my new DAP X-Hose Pro for only $29.95. But call right now and get a second X-Hose Pro free. Just pay processing and handling. So call now. I promise you'll love it.
Call 1-800-780-1388. That's 1-800-780-1388. X-Hose Pro is not sold in stores, so call today.
Well, Stanford rebounding right now, up 12-9 in the second set. Sure was fun to talk with John Sparrow. And let's take a look at his U.S. national team schedule right now. The FIVB World League Volleyball, the Olympic team will be playing in Long Beach in early June. And then Chicago has become a real hotbed for volleyball, hosting this national championship. And then the U.S. will play Serbia here in Chicago, and then outside of Chicago on the 20th and 21st against Bulgaria.
I know, it seems like everybody coming to Chicago to play. I remember playing here every year, beach volleyball. It's just, volleyball is huge.
Well, Loyola is coming back down to earth here in the second set.
But they played at such a high level in the first set. It's one of those instances where you're going to have to come off of that high and kind of settle in. And that's what's happening right now. Stanford taking advantage.
I'm being a little facetious because it's only the second hitting error of the set, and we're saying they're coming down to earth. But as perfectly as they started, they certainly are. Shaw's having a nice service run, hoping to keep that alive. Good rally, and that is out of bounds. Point to Stanford.
Well, Sam, you're absolutely right. It's not about them messing up the stat column. It's just the things aren't quite going the way they were in that first set. That block would have been straight down in the first set. And Stanford, let's not forget here, has really turned it up from that back line, putting more pressure on Loyola.
Shaw has brought Stanford right back in it, and the run is finally ended by Nick Olson. His second kill is coming off a career-high 12 kills against Penn State in the national semis. Smalls are back to serve for Loyola. 14-10, Stanford leads its second set. And that worked out nicely for Stanford.
Spencer Haley floating in the middle and taking it off right there. So important knowing when to pull back, not blast it, know that the defense is on their heels, and then give that little soft shot.
Point to Loyola. Caldwell with a kill from the far side. His 11th kill. Wow.
And Cody Caldwell having quite a national championship so far.
A highly rated recruit out of Newport Beach, California. His brother started some matches for the national team last year. Stanford, though, answers. 4 kills for Cook. Here's Caldwell's numbers tonight, 11 kills in the bid. Only a junior. So double digits in 10 of his last 12 matches. Here's the serving specialist, Madison Hayden, for Stanford. He had a service error last time, does better this time. And a hitting error. Jeschke hits it long, point to Stanford, and Loyola wants another timeout. It has not been as smooth a set for Loyola, but the Ramblers still within striking distance. Stanford, though, looking much better, leading by 6 here in the second set.
Hit you in the face!
Gatorade Fierce, more bold, intense flavor.
What is this? A waffle taco? What's next, a pancake enchilada?
It's a slippery slope, I tell you.
It's a gateway breakfast.
Today they're eating waffle tacos, tomorrow they'll loiter in.
And then they grow a ponytail.
Hey, isn't that your grandson over there?
Daniel! You better not grow a ponytail!
The next generation of breakfast is here. Introducing the Waffle Taco. Eggs and sausage wrapped up in a waffle.
After a long day of doing man stuff, me and the fellas trust new Dial for Men Power Scrub to give us a clean we can be proud of. Over-engineered with unstoppable orange oil and micro scrubbers. Unstoppable! It leaves us honkingly gorgeous. Dial for Men, proudly over-engineered.
A majestic sunset here in Chicago. We're at the National Men's Volleyball Championship on the campus of Loyola. Stanford leading the second set here. And let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings update as teams compete for a combined $400,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. Stanford always seems to be in the mix here. On the men's side, Florida State leading right now, and UConn leading the women, but you see Stanford's women trailing UConn slightly. Stanford's athletic program has won a national title in some sport for 37 straight years. It is a remarkable feat, and they've won more Directors' Cups, measuring the top athletic program in the country, than any other team in history as well, any other program in history, I should say. Loyola looking to turn its fortunes around. That is touched by Loyola, so it is going to be the point to Stanford. Here's a look at just how the serve has gone. See Stanford, no aces in that opening set, and have 4 here.
Yeah, that 4 aces by Stanford is the difference. That's why they're up by 6 right now. If you can control that back line, you can keep your opposition on your heels, get them out of system. That is the key, getting them out of system. When you have that perfect pass, anyone can run a good offense. You got to knock them out of system.
Novotny back in to serve for Loyola. 18-12, Stanford leads it, trying to tie this match at a set apiece. Point to Stanford. And Stanford extends its lead to 7. Coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the NCAA men's first round lacrosse coverage on May 10th at noon Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the NCAA men's lacrosse first round, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. 19-13. Hutz back to serve. Hutz set this team to the highest hitting percentage in the nation. And Cook with the kill for the Cardinal to push the lead back up to 7.
Cook coming out of the middle with that big set on the backside, and it is so difficult to stop when that comes out of the back row at such a high apex.
Irvin will put it in play, hopefully for Stanford. Will float serve, nice up, but dispatched crushed, put down harshly.
Wow.
You name it, James Shaw. The setter, that's got to feel good for the setter, huh?
No question about that hit. That thing went absolutely straight down. Shaw was ready for it, and he made Loyola pay.
Shaw, of course, the son of former Stanford coaching legend Don Shaw, coached the women to 4 NCAA titles. Did it hit? Yes, it was touched by Stanford.
Yeah, Sam, it's so interesting you said how many titles that Stanford has. 104 national championships in all their sports, where Loyola just has 1. But guess what? None of that matters here today. These guys are going at it.
Stanford has not won the national championship since 2010. They're 2-2 in national title matches, but a perfect 5-0 in national semifinals. Sakaida, the senior from Honolulu, in to serve. Nice serve. And Cook hits it out. Point to Loyola. It is a 7-point Stanford lead. That was only the first error of the set for Stanford. So we've really had the same story for each team in different sets.
Yeah, that first set, it was all Loyola playing to perfection, and Stanford was a little erratic. Now the tables have turned, and it's Stanford that is flawless. Loyola trying to turn this around.
Burson serving for Loyola. First time we've seen him tonight. Nick Olson got the majority of it. The middle blocker from Wisconsin. He had a couple of big blocks in the 5th set the other night. And he comes up with a big one here to tighten things. It is now a 6-point lead for Stanford. Loyola getting to play for a national championship on its home court, and things are going pretty well right now for the Ramblers. This is a sold-out arena. This school, we're on the campus of Loyola. It was founded in 1870, an enrollment of just over 16,000. They've had volleyball here since '96. And they were the men's basketball champions, D1 basketball champions back in '63. That was before our time, though, Dane, I'm proud to say.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's their only national championship. So this would be history.
Yeah, there's that banner flying proudly. They'll try to add to that tonight. Well, tonight at 10, we're going to switch from volleyball, but we're going to stay in the Pac-12, which Stanford is a member of. In fact, stay with Stanford and go to baseball, as the Stanford Cardinal will take on UCLA in baseball tonight. And then tomorrow at 2 p.m., it's a matinee game from the SEC when Texas A&M will host LSU. College baseball is on ESPNU. Both games are also live on Watch ESPN. A lot of sports coming together this time of year. This is the national championship for men's volleyball here in Chicago. Stanford actually will host the national championship next year.
It's so nice to host, and Shane Davis told me it is so nice that all these players have been able to sleep in their own bed. They're right at home. They're treating it just like another home match. But of course, this is a huge national championship, and they haven't had the jitters. They've had this crowd behind them, and having a game lead over Stanford is exactly where they want to be.
Persons with a nice serve. Shaw with his set. Cook tries to finish it and does. 6 kills for Cook. And Stanford closing in on tying this match. Shaw went on a very effective serving run for Stanford earlier in this set. Will try to duplicate that here to give his team the win. Talked about his dad, the Hall of Famer. Sister Jordan was also is a good volleyball player.
Wow. Jeske coming in on the bick out of the back row. Seen a lot of that set from both teams. It's been very effective, difficult to block.
Jeske, the MIVA Player of the Year. He's only got 3 kills, though. Good serve. And point to Stanford. 4 hits on Loyola. So set point for Stanford to tie this match.
When you have a lead like this, you just want to really go for it from that back line right now. Try to get the ace, try to get Loyola out of system.
Cook will serve. And Loyola stays alive. A kill from the left side by Cody Caldwell. His 12th kill.
Caldwell out of the hotbed, of course, Southern California, Newport Beach, having quite a match.
Still set point for Stanford. And it will remain set point as Loyola is trying to come back here late in the set, but no room for error. Any point loss results in the loss of the set. Loyola was in the net. Stanford takes the second set. And the national championship is deadlocked at a set apiece. It's a 2 out of 3 set match from here on out. The national championship hangs in the balance. Stanford and Loyola tied at 1 set apiece.
Golden Corral, we love seniors. Right now, our senior early bird special is just $7.49, drink included. Choose from all the delicious Golden Corral food you love. Drink included for just $7.49. It's the early bird special. It's just for seniors, and it's only at Golden Corral.
That should just about do it.
Excuse me? What are you doing?
Well, we're fine-tuning these small cells that improve coverage, capacity, and quality of the network.
It means you'll be able to post from the break room.
Great.
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?
A little.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Oh, okay.
AT&T is building you a better network.
The best part about going to Walt Disney World just might be staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel. From royal encounters to royal rooms and pirates to paradise, the magic never has to stop. And this summer, you can save up to 30% off a select Walt Disney World Resort hotel room. Book your stay now and discover how close the magic can be.
Don't deal with embarrassing antiperspirant residue. Choose Right Guard Extreme Clear. Its revolutionary formula combines powerful stain-fighting technology with extra effective wetness protection. The choice is clear. Right Guard for the win. Also try the power of the world's first clinical clear.
It's all about the postseason and making it happen when it counts.
10 teams, but only 1 champion.
Their offense is spectacular.
Who will punch their ticket to the NCAA Regionals? The SEC softball tournament begins Wednesday at 4 on ESPNU.
Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals Cubs at 8. Baseball rules on ESPN.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.
Chicago, Illinois is hosting the NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship, which is presented by Northwestern Mutual. A spectacular night here in Chicago and a spectacular national championship as well, as Loyola came out hot to win set number 1, and Stanford answered in set number 2. And once again, we welcome you inside this sold-out arena. It's hot in here, Dane. Man, what an environment. I don't know how you keep the jacket on. What do you think about that second set, though? Stanford really got it going after getting just crushed in the first set.
Well, I'll tell you what, the head coach, Costi, he knows his team so well. He told me before this match that they didn't do a serve and pass this morning, and I said, how come? Because we never do it before a match. Why do it on the national championship day? He knows exactly what his team responds to, and it was just a matter of them settling down in order to get that second set.
Well, it's time for our Pick You Up moment presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and it was the Stanford serve that really was the difference maker in the second set. Agree? agree?
Absolutely, because the first set, it was all about Loyola, and then finally Stanford started being aggressive. They went from line to line, cross-court to angle, and that's what kind of confused Loyola. They couldn't get a beat on the serve. Stanford had the advantage, and they took advantage completely of it, winning 25-19. 3 Cardinals with 6 kills each. Caldwell, 12 kills. He's been having a huge night, hitting 706. And Stanford with 4 aces. That was a huge difference in set number 2. Who's going to take control from the back line in set number 3 will be the question.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out, too, because it's been high-level volleyball to win both of these sets. Not a lot of errors. First point, third set. First team to 3 sets takes it, and the opening point goes to Loyola.
Loyola wants to establish themselves just as they did in the first set. They kind of maybe got a little complacent in that second set after coming out on fire. They're going to have to get that magic back.
Jeschke with the serve for Loyola. Block is tooled, and that is a kill for Stephen Irvin. That's his 7th kill.
Stephen Irvin, such a great player, so consistent. So many big guns on Stanford.
He's one of 7 Cardinal players with at least 1,000 career kills. Caldwell has been the man for the Ramblers, his 13th kill tonight.
He really has. He's hitting so freely. He sees the block, turns it down the line, and when you get him one-on-one, it's a difficult task to stop.
13 kills on 18 swings. McAndrews with the serve, good up by Delgado, the libero. Got to give those liberos some love out there with the different colored jerseys on. Hitting error by Mahalski. Side out Loyola.
I love the libero position. It allows for a defensive specialist to have a career and really show the skills. You don't get to hit or serve, but you get to scrap. And that's what you gotta love.
McAndrews with a service error. He'll rotate out. And back to serve for Stanford is Konrad Kaminsky. 20 aces this year, his first year as a starter. All-American honorable mention this year. Hammered in the middle by Olsen. His 3rd kill. Feels like he's had more, though, because when he gets one, you can feel it in your gut.
Yeah, I love Olsen because he is so emotional. He brings it every single time. He's a spark plug for the entire Loyola team.
You can feel that thud all over the place here. Nice serve by Smalzer. And the joust at the net is won by Loyola.
Peter Hunt's up on the block, a joust. Anytime you have a joust, I remember playing, it was always the shorter guy usually had the leverage and could power it over the bigger guy, and you gotta love it.
That was Hutz at 6'4", taking down 6'7" Haley. Off the scoreboard, if it comes down on your side of the net, you play it, but because that hit the scoreboard and came down on Stanford's side, it becomes Stanford's point.
It's funny, on that last joust, Hutz being 6'4", being the shorter guy, it just goes to show you how big the players are.
Well, I mean, look at Shaw, who's back to serve now. The setter's 6'8" for Stanford. Shaw, of course, comes from that great volleyball lineage of his dad, Don, a volleyball Hall of Famer, a women's coach at Stanford, a long time. His sister just finished her senior season at St. Mary's. Service error by Loyola. It's Caldwell sent it long, one of the few things he's messed up on tonight. Everything else has come up golden for Caldwell. Cook hoping to continue his volleyball career overseas next year with the serve. Cox now with 30 assists for Loyola.
Thomas Jasicki on the outside. He gets one-on-one. He powers it. They're on the angle right there. Mahalski trying to drop in the angle, but he just couldn't control it.
Chesky finally becoming more of a factor tonight. Another point for Loyola and another kill for Jeski.
Jeski was so quiet in that first set, and he's starting to come alive. Only a sophomore, but he can really bring it.
6 kills. As you can tell by the crowd's reaction, Loyola has doubled up the score on Stanford here in the 3rd set. We'll be back to this electric atmosphere in a moment.
It's avocado season at Subway.
Avocado, yeah.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Whatever you're training for, this super tasty superfood can help power it.
Eat, train, and let it rain.
Come on, man. You know you can't go wrong with avocado. Enjoy rich, creamy avocado on any of your favorites, like a scrumptious Subway Club, piled high with ham, turkey, and roast beef. Can't get enough of it. I told you it was delicious.
Subway, the official training restaurant of Russell Westbrook,
Justin Tuck, Mike Trout, and athletes everywhere.
Each year, 95% of homeowners won't have a claim. That's why Allstate Claim-Free Rewards gives you money back for every year you don't have one. And why, if you're part of the other 5%, Allstate offers Claim Rate Guard, so your rates won't go up just because of a claim. No matter what comes your way, your home protects you. Protect it back. Allstate Home Insurance. From an Allstate agent.
Home team Loyola in the national championship, up by 4 against Stanford. And we want to remind you that ESPN News coverage of college lacrosse continues tomorrow at noon when the top teams, Penn and Harvard from the Ivy League, battle it out on the field. The Ivy League Tournament Championship tomorrow at noon on ESPNU. Also live on Watch ESPN. Cornell is out. Cornell was the number 2 seed. Penn upsetting Cornell, coming back from what looked like a defeat, and we'll take on Harvard tomorrow at noon. Great energy here in Gentile Arena. Boy, Cook just hung there. Nice save by the Loyola D. And Cook looked like he got mad.
Too bad Loyola couldn't save that. How about McAndrews? He turned around and looked like he kicked the ball with his leg and kept that ball in play.
And Cook says, take that. You're not getting this back. His 8th kill. Haley with the serve. Good up by Shaw. Back row attack. Was a little behind. Oh, nice. Well, both teams a little out of system during that entire play, but the point goes to Stanford.
Well, anytime you're in a rally like this and you get out of system, that will show you the great teams. Who can recover? Who can bounce back when the pass isn't perfect, when the set isn't perfect?
There's not much separating these two. 14th kill for Caldwell, and he just keeps on increasing that number. How'd Caldwell get out of Newport Beach, Dane? There he is again, but this time Stanford is waiting on him. Kaminsky in the middle gets the block.
Yeah, Caldwell having such a great match out of Southern California. A lot of players here on this Loyola team, a few players from Southern California. And what would that mean for them coming to school here in Chicago and winning that national championship for the first time for the university?
Jositis is also from Manhattan Beach. Back to serve. Here is Jeski from Wheaton, Illinois. He's a local product. And put down with authority by Kaminsky. That's his 5th kill.
Huge hit. In system, perfect pass, perfect set, and then it's put away.
Described as a quiet guy off the court, really comes to life though on the court. That's where he shows his emotion. Irvin to serve. He's also hoping to play overseas next year. And Cook with the kill for Stanford. How financially lucrative is for these guys to play overseas after college?
Well, it's huge right now, and right now Russia seems to be the place to play. So many people making so much money.
That's the next level for these guys, but right now they're focused on winning at this level. The national championship well underway here in Chicago.
This is the computer ICU. It's what happens to your computer when it gets infected, slows down, and crashes. And if you don't do something, your computer could wind up here in the computer graveyard. But it could be saved with mycleanpc.com.
Is your computer running slow? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? Then go to mycleanpc.com for your free diagnosis today. Then just activate the mycleanpc.com software to fix it in minutes. And computer specialists are available while you're online.
The best thing about mycleanpc.com was it had a free diagnosis.
My computer is 100% faster.
You know immediately what the problem is, and the problem is solved right then and there.
Download your free diagnosis today at mycleanpc.com.
Tight third set, the difference maker here in this match. The winner will have a 2-1 lead. Let's go back to the opportunities that can present themselves for guys that go overseas to play. You were saying Russia's the place to be right now?
Yeah, that's where the money's really big. It's interesting. When you graduate college, you have two options. You want to play on the beach? Well, you stay here in the United States and you play on the AVP Tour, or you get out there and play international on the FIVB Tour. But if you want to continue your career indoor, you play either for the national team, of course, but internationally over in Europe, that is where the big dollars are, and you'll see a lot of these players head that way, and it'll be really nice for some of them to put a national championship on their resume.
Small Caldwell is just crushing it. 15 kills right now and climbing. First team all MIVA selection this year, his junior season. Double-digit kills now in 11 of his last 13 matches. And he may get to 20. Shaw with a set, Cook with the finish. Perfectly placed. Couldn't have walked it over there any better, and he's in double digits with 10 kills.
Not easy to stop when that ball's passed. Perfect in system. It's outside. It's giving fits for the blockers of Loyola when that pass is perfect.
Kaminsky with the jump serve. Put down in the middle by Olsen. Boy, he's got some pop on that ball.
It's so pretty to see an offense run on all cylinders when that pass is perfect. Here you see Loyola with so many options. They go to Olsen, and he brings the noise.
Olsen is 6'10". Full head of steam by Cook. This time it's in play. It hit the scoreboard, but came down on the same side. And Shaw dumps it over, but he hit it out.
Had the spot wide open for Shaw, and then he just could not execute. You could tell he was a bit disappointed in himself for not hitting that exact spot.
Good effort, though. It was there. Smalzer ready to fire away. Loyola up 3. Boom. And a big swing by Mahalski results in the point for Stanford. Mahalski's dad played in Europe, played professionally in Holland and in Italy. Won a national championship at UCLA. His name, David Mahalski. Shaw with a serve. I think Mahalski was mad at me for catching him. He was going to jump in my lap.
He wanted to go after that one. It just got over here a little bit too quick.
Caldwell ready to serve. That goes wide. But Stanford was in the net. So the point goes to Loyola. What a break for the Ramblers.
Huge break right there. Whenever you have a hitting error like that, if you get let off the hook by a big net violation.
You saw the touch there in the middle. And Loyola has grabbed the momentum.
How about that? All of a sudden, they get out to a 5-point lead. What a huge hit right there by Jeski.
A wise timeout taken by Stanford, as John Kotze could feel the momentum shifting to Loyola.
Well, Loyola kind of let off the steam from serving in the second set, but they've got it back here in the third set, forcing that overpass. And then when that ball comes over like that, it's fair game. You just blast it if you're Loyola, and that's what they did.
Loyola trying to become the 4th team to win the NCAA title at home. Stanford trying to become the 4th team to win the NCAA title on another school's home court.
Yeah, it's really not often that you get an opportunity to win a national championship on your home court. Of course, UCLA did it like 9 times. San Diego State ended up doing it 1 time, and of course Stanford. So this would be the 4th time it happened if Loyola can pull it off.
Well, one guy that is doing his best tonight is Cody Caldwell for Loyola, trying to give them that first national championship.
Well, he's all over the place, and he's got all sorts of fire, blasting it left and right, hitting different angles. Even when you have 2 up against him, he has the confidence right now to just go right through you. When a player on the outside or the middle like that, where he's moving in and out, is completely free and relaxed, that's when you're in trouble, and you have to take away his strong tendency.
Well, he's been fun to watch tonight. Stanford coming out of this timeout after Loyola has extended the lead by 5. Caldwell is back to serve for the Ramblers. Caldwell, I'm sure, grew up with a lot of the guys on the other side of the net. Well, he knows a lot of their tendencies. Service error, though, gives the side out to Stanford. He'll not be happy with that.
Whenever you come out of a timeout, you want to keep that ball in, but you also want to get that momentum continuing.
Cook, 4-year starter for Stanford. Hutz tried to dump it over. Stanford not fooled. And Cook can't say that Jeski gets another kill. He is like a freight train tonight. He started slow, and he's been picking up a full head of steam. He's now got 9 kills.
Jeski out of Wheaton, Illinois, a local kid. Player of the year in the MIVA, and he started quietly, but now he seems to be the go-to guy, and he's leading the Ramblers.
Put down on the right side by Mahalski. Mahalski, real all-around player for Stanford. He's going to finish top 10 in career kills, blocks, aces, and hitting percentage here in Stanford. Then he falls back to serve. Good up by Cook. And Cook now tries to finish. What a block. Kaminsky gets credit for the block. And Stanford within 3.
When you're a middle blocker, you have to get out of there. The footwork has to be quick, and he reaches with that left, targets the ball back to the middle of the court, and that's a perfect block.
Yeah, Irvin was in on it too, a combined block. Somebody in the net, but a point to Loyola. That is now 10 kills for Jeski. Hutz just could not absorb that power.
A lot of power right there by Kaminsky. 6'7", sophomore.
I wonder what that laugh's about. Does light flash before his eyes? Is that what that is?
Maybe.
Point to Loyola.
Miss hit right there, an open net. But Kaminsky just couldn't put it down. It looked like he was just a little bit out of position with his timing.
These are the top two offensive teams in the nation. 1 and 2 in hitting percentage this year. Service error. That's the 9th service error from Loyola. And no aces. But yet Loyola clean to a 3-point lead as Stephen Irvin gets ready to serve. Al Cook was over the net. He's trying to argue it. So is Kaminsky. But Stanford's going to lose this argument. Let's take a look and see for ourselves.
Well, if the ball's on the side of the offensive attacker and you're not attacking, you're just trying to set the ball, Kaminsky cannot come over the net like that and actually block it unless there's some part of the ball clearing the plane.
So good call in hindsight. Point to Stanford. Cook gets the kill, his 11th. How important is this third set, Dane, in the 5-set match, you think?
Well, it's kind of a swing set. When you win the first set, sure, you're off to a good start, but you're not there yet. If you get that second win and you go up 2-1, you're in command, and then you can start to taste it. It gets really close, and you taste it, and you're 1 game away.
The setter.
Smalzer from the left side comes in and absolutely unleashes 2 blockers in his face, but they're blocking down that line. He still had a complete open angle.
His 9th kill, and now serves. That is the first service ace for Loyola.
And it comes from the #1 leading server in the nation. Smalzer making it happen. Before the match, 233 aces in his career.
He is the face of this team. 2-time All-American. Shaw to Cook. Point to Loyola. 4 hits on Stanford. And Loyola can taste the third set.
It's so interesting. It keeps going back and forth, but then all of a sudden Loyola will make a few big plays and just expand the lead. Right there, that stuff block, Stanford just can't handle.
And coming flying in is number 12, Stephen Irvin, to side out for Stanford.
Beautiful hit by Irvin, switching that momentum, trying to get it back on the Stanford side.
Shaw trying to bring Stanford back in this before it is gone. Shaw loves to set Cook. He does with great effect there, and it is Stanford within 4.
Cook, that senior outside hitter from Santa Cruz, very composed.
Shaw back to serve. He's just a sophomore. What a future he's got in this Stanford program. Point to Loyola. And it is set point for the Ramblers.
This would be huge right now to close this out. They have quite a bit of opportunity having a 5-point lead. Oh my. Wow.
It is good. The 10th kill of the match from Smalzer. And it gives Loyola a 2-1 lead. The Ramblers on their home court, 1 set away from a program first national title.
Preparation is how you make the most of opportunity. At Northwestern Mutual, we'll work together to create a personalized financial plan that helps turn your challenges into rewards.
Build it, you demolish it. The legendary Homewrecker Burrito. Come build yours today with 20+ fresh ingredients.
Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you? Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
After a long day of doing man stuff, me and the fellas trust new Dial from Men Power Scrub to give us a clean we can be proud of. Over-engineered with unstoppable orange oil and micro scrubbers. Unstoppable! It leaves us honkingly gorgeous. Dial from Men, proudly over-engineered.
2 thrilling series.
Williams, taking the dagger. 3-ball is good!
2 Game 7s.
The Mavericks season is still alive!
The NBA playoffs on ABC. Nets Raptors at 1. Mavs Spurs at 3:30.
Well, the city of Chicago may be crowning a national champion tonight of its own, as Loyola of Chicago leading Stanford 2-1. And we welcome you back courtside here in Gentile Arena. It's sold out, an electric atmosphere. This has been such a fun national championship, Dane. And to me, Loyola is doing exactly what you'd hope for on your home floor in this situation.
Well, the great thing about this national championship, it's swinging back and forth. You saw Loyola come out on fire, and then it was Stanford. Now Loyola has taken it back. The crowd is now behind them, and they ended that last set with an absolutely spectacular play.
In fact, it was our Reese's perfect play. The end of that last set.
I mean, look at this dig by Smalzer. Just hangs in there, puts his helmet on, digs that ball up perfectly, and then for the exclamation point, he goes down the line with the kill. So that is a momentum swinging play, one of the most spectacular we have seen tonight. Can Loyola continue with that momentum here in the 4th set and wrap up its first national championship?
What do you think, Cammy?
Wow.
I mean, you can get to that moment of doing it, but finishing it off is something Loyola's never experienced before. Is that a factor?
Well, it absolutely is in terms of coaching. Remember that Coach Costi of Stanford won a national championship back in 2010, and that was on his home court. Now, Shane Davis, a former player and alum of Loyola, in uncharted waters, but this is his home court, and he has his team really playing some of the best volleyball that they have all season long.
Here we go. It is a must-win set for Stanford. And into the crowd goes that. The 40th assist from Hutz, and yet another kill from Smalzer.
If you look at the hitting percentages in that 3rd set, Loyola hit 500, Stanford only 267.
Wow. McAndrews back to serve for Loyola. Remember, both of these teams survived 5-setters in the national semifinals. First time we've had a national championship where both teams survived 5-setters in the semis. Shaw will be back. So I've always wondered, you know, what kind of pressure is on this young man, being the son of Don Shaw, that great volleyball lineage. I mean, James Shaw, whatever pressure it is, he's holding up to it pretty well.
He is. And when you grow up around volleyball and you have a legendary father like that, then you're going to be accustomed to situations like this. I think it definitely works to your advantage because you've been here, you know, as a fan, you've been around this type of environment, and it's not the first time.
And he's living up to his potential, just a sophomore. There's the set by Shaw to Cook. Little off speed, doesn't fool Stanford. Back row attack to Irvin, but the block is there. Olsen waiting on it at 6'10".
Stanford has to move that ball around because the Ramblers have 3 blockers just sitting and waiting for this hit. There's just nowhere to go.
Loyola with the early lead, 3-1. Hammered serve. That is pushed out of bounds, point to Stanford.
Stanford just trailing by 1. If there's a coach who knows his team well, it's Coach Costi on Stanford's side. He knows what this team needs, so he will prepare them, no question about it, for this pressure for set.
Caldwell, what a national championship he's had. A match high 17 kills and climbing.
So nice when you're a team and you have so many weapons. You don't know who's going to step forward as that one just goes wide. But when you look at that roster, when you're trying to defend the Ramblers with Jeske, Caldwell, Smalzer, Olsen, all those guys, it's very difficult to stop because there's not just one guy you have to key on.
Yeah, I was thinking about what the scouting report must look like for both these teams because there's not a lot of holes in either team. Caldwell making up for that service error with the kill as his numbers continue to climb. This makes it look easy. Easy power. Olsen to serve. The big 6'10" middle blocker hits it out. It's a little too big. Well, coverage of the NCAA championships continues with NCAA men's first round lacrosse coverage on May 10th at noon Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the NCAA men's lacrosse first round, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. 6-4, Loyola leads. Hutz with 40 assists tonight, back to serve. And hammered by Kaminsky.
Kaminsky up high and putting it down. If I'm Stanford right now, what I need to do is I need to start playing with more of a sense of urgency. They don't want this thing to go back and forth and get to 20 all. They want to get a lead, a little bit of a cushion, so that there's not too much pressure at the end of the set now that they're facing elimination.
You don't want service errors if you're Stanford. That is a free point with the match, the championship hanging in the balance. Time to clean up your game.
I do like them going for it because both teams still, trying to establish that back line and go back and forth. And there it is, Loyola, but you can't serve it easy. You have to start it off, try to get the other team a bit off kilter, and that's what Loyola is doing right now. Great defense.
Do you see any way you can defend Caldwell, though, or is it just one of those nights where he's going to get his 19 kills?
Wow. You know what? Everybody's playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of fire, but you're right. Caldwell is on fire. Sometimes there's a guy like that out there, and it's hard to stop him, but you just have to try to stop his power move, his tendency.
Well, this crowd, if Loyola wins, deserves a piece of that national championship trophy. They have been a factor for the Ramblers, and the Ramblers lead by 4 here in the 4th set.
Hey, what are you doing today?
I'm backing up the computer. Photos, work files, you name it.
Lovely. See you in a few hours. Did you get everything backed up?
Took care of it.
For just $59.99 a year, Carbonite backs up your irreplaceable files automatically, so you don't have to. Try it for free at Carbonite.com.
Ernie Banks, got number 500. Holy cow! Let there be. Here comes the hook. Got him! 20 strikeouts.
Rule 19.14. The age of the confines shall not affect its friendliness. Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals Cubs at 8, presented by Taco Bell. Baseball rules on ESPN.
Loyola trying to hang on and win its first national championship, up 9-5 here in the fourth set. Stanford trying to win its first title since 2010 and its third overall. But Loyola has never been in this position, trying to win its first national title and its first national championship appearance. And just by luck of the draw, getting to do it here on their home court.
Well, a few years ago, Shane Davis told me they put in the bid to have it here. He knew that the administration had confidence in him. He went out and tried to recruit the right team. And there was a lot of pressure on this team to be here as they hosted, as they get another block. But not only to be here as they hosted, but to get to the final. So it's pretty amazing that they have come through and actually are here. So this has been 3 years in the making.
Well, what's amazing to me, Dane, is that they have played tonight as if there is no pressure.
Absolutely true.
And they look like they're having fun out on the court.
And they are. That's what it's all about. When you're playing at this high of a level, it's all about getting used to it, getting comfortable so that you don't play tight. They're playing so loose, and you can see the pressure is mounting right now for the Cardinals.
John Kotze getting up and calling a timeout. It feels like Stanford is just hanging on. They need to grab some more rope. We'll be right back.
Stand back, Suburbia. Behold, the Craftsman tractor. With an industry-leading 6-inch turning radius that's 66% tighter than a John Deere tractor. And with a top speed of 7.5 miles per hour, it's 26% faster. It's the antidote to other tractors. That's the quality and innovative performance you can expect from Craftsman, exclusively at Sears.
Welcome to
We build it, you demolish it. The legendary Homewrecker Burrito. Come build yours today with 20+ fresh ingredients.
Friday night, buddy, you are gonna need a wingman. And my cash back keeps the party going.
But my airline miles take it worldwide.
It shouldn't be this hard. With creditcards.com, it's easy to search hundreds of cards and apply online. Creditcards.com.
The NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual. Proud to be an official corporate partner of the NCAA.
11-5, Loyola in the lead, trying to claim its first national championship in its hometown, Chicago, here in the Windy City. It is Jeske back to serve.
How about that? All the momentum right now with Loyola. As I mentioned earlier, Stanford needs to play with a sense of urgency, and it's been Loyola at the beginning of this first set, or this fourth set here, trying to take control. It's them who are playing as if the pressure is on, and they need to make it happen, and they are executing all over the court.
Love Smallser's reaction after that block. But check this out.
So nice to get a solo block right there. Presses over with his left hand. He's feeling it.
Oh, that was priceless. Perfect. A well-placed kill by Cook. The 35th assist from Shaw as well. And Stanford's not done yet. 13-6, Loyola leading, but Stanford needs to get going here.
They need to strike right now, and now they need to somewhat roll the dice from that back line. Serve it tougher, be more aggressive. They have to force the issue and get some points right now.
Kamensky misses. He was trying to follow your advice, Dane, but a little too aggressive. 12th service error for Stanford tonight. And back to serve. Owen McAndrews, just a freshman. And that really got away from him. It looked like he had about a 3-iron when he needed a pitching wedge.
The problem right now for Stanford, and you mentioned it earlier, Sam, is the fact that Loyola is playing so relaxed. They miss that serve, they're smiling, they know they have a nice little cushion right now, and that is dangerous.
Shaw back to serve. Very stoic young man, just a sophomore. Dig by the libero. Chasitis made a heck of a play. It's good though. That ball just got the back of the line.
One of the best rallies that we've had in this 2014 National Championship. But Stanford wins the long one. It's important to really win those long rallies because it can take a lot out of you when you lose it. But if you win it, you have the momentum. You don't think about it too much.
Another good serving run by Shaw. Point, though, to Loyola. The serving run is over.
Beautiful pass right there, and then tooling it off the block.
5 kills for Olsen. Smalls are back to serve. Point to Loyola, nice block. Olsen again there in the middle. Hutz was assisting.
Stanford does not want to let this thing get out of control, but it is a little bit out of control right now. An 8-point deficit to overcome with their backs up against the wall.
Stanford only 4 kills this set. Missed it. An ambitious attempt, but why not? Everything else has been turning to gold for Loyola.
The Smalls are that time got a little cute trying to get that angle a little bit too sharp. Had a lot of court to work with, but when you're playing so well and things are going your way, you want to try those sharp angles.
Cook, ready to serve. Ace. Nice serve by Cook. It was worth the wait. He took his time. 5th service ace for Stanford.
Absolutely love that by Cook. Coming in hard, blasting that serve, taking the risks and going for the ace. That's what they need right now.
Cook's got 2 aces himself tonight. 2 of Stanford's 5. And the service error follows it.
That's what happens when you have that pressure and you're really trying to score points and go for it. Sometimes you get that ace and sometimes it just doesn't clear the net.
Hutz runs it down, sets Small. Yep. And that's the point for Stanford.
A beautiful block up at the net by Stanford. Smalzer coming in, absolutely trying to bring it. But Stephen Irvin up on that block.
Hayden back to serve. So Loyola crowd giving those Stanford servers all they can handle. Back row attack from Cook. And how about that? Jeschke gets the kill, his 12th of the night.
That's difficult there for Michalski. He had a free ball opportunity and just passed it over the net. Loyola's capitalizing on any time they get an opportunity. They're taking that advantage.
Novotny back into serve for Loyola. Loyola up 18-11, 7 points away from a national championship. And it'll stay that way as Stanford stays alive. Irvin again with the kill. His ninth. Michalski back to serve. What a set by Hutz. You got to give Hutz the credit there.
Yeah, he went up the ladder to get that one. It looked like that was going to be an overpass, but he climbs the ladder. He's able to set McAndrews and get the kill.
That was beautiful. Good volleyball tonight here in Chicago on both sides. Smalzer.
Now you're starting to feel it. You can feel it in the arena. This Ramblers team, 28-1 on the year. They have a 26-match win streak. And they're trying to extend it one more to win a national title. I can't believe how loud it is in here.
4 points stand between Loyola and its first national championship. And things keep getting better.
Wow, you want to stop this momentum. They're on fire right now, Loyola.
And finally, the momentum is delayed by Michalski. That's his 9th kill, but Stanford down by 9. Irvin back to serve for the Cardinal. Hutz again with a nice play. Back row attack. Guess who? It is Caldwell, kill number 20.
Caldwell is everywhere tonight.
It is national championship point for Loyola. The celebration will have to wait for one more point at least.
This is wild. The energy in the arena is incredible, and there was a question, could they finish this last piece of the puzzle? Now they are completely in the driver's seat.
Sakaida serving with the match in the national championship on the line. Touched by Jeske, and Stanford hanging in there. It is still national championship point for Shane Davis and the Loyola Ramblers. Loyola has won its first national championship.